Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1285, 1985. That was the year of the, Pet Shop Boys and stuff. West and girls. I went to the state finals for speech. I competed in a category where you wrote a speech and it had to be like a poem. And so I wrote this speech story thing.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It had characters in it. Oh, and this show today has characters in it. Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, and
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And we'll have the segment, Why the Hell Did I Yelp That? And we'll cover some interesting news about things. Hey, this is where Mike Matthews sings. And then there's this wonderful thing that happened to me and my hand.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
My hand. I did a stupid thing yesterday. I was talking to Haley, and Haley was being
Mike's
a smartass.
Daily.
And I said, well,
Podcast.
I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
Yeah!
Kiddingly. And I went to shut the door. Well, the door has one of these things that keep it from slamming, because we're in a radio station and doors can't slam. We try to reduce noise, make it a quiet, clean, sterile place. And I go to shut the door, and of course the hydraulic is fighting against me, and my hand slips off the doorknob and into the door jamb with the full force of what I was trying to do comedically. And I smash in my hand. Oh, my left hand. I'm right-handed. Left hand. I'm just giving away all this information about myself. Yeah, I'm right-handed, but you can kind of tell because I'm creative. Sort of. So my left hand smashes into the door frame, and it's like hurting. And I get home yesterday. I took this wonderful nap. And I have to tell you, I'm so used to my dog being around, Basil the Boxer. When I'm sleeping, his snoring noise puts me to sleep. Isn't that funny? It's like snoring keeps some people awake, but to hear my dog snoring, or any dog snoring, really, that makes me fall asleep. I like the sound of dog snores. Snores. S'mores. I know a dog named S'mores. I just realized. Look who just walked in. Hello, my Master. It's Madame Rootabega und unser Kaffee. Anyway. That's right. You do. You know what? And it's a fine morning.
It's a very fine morning.
Podcaster Valley is having a power outage. Just heard from my roommate who's in the dark. Can't get ready in the dark. How is he going to make his perfect hair perfect in the dark? My roommate has perfect hair. I have no hair. Ah, the irony. Did I talk about yesterday Greta Bronner? I did, didn't I? And C-SPAN and how much I love Pedro. That was the last show. Oh, look who else walked in.
Hello, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we're going to start a third party. And we'll make it so that the San Jose won't ever flood again, day.
Yeah, no water, ever. Do you know that? That I don't think will happen, but... Yeah, San Jose had flooding, which is odd. Flooding. I'm sick of the flooding. I'm sick of the flash floods. And the rain. And the power outages because of the rain. Ugh. You know what also I hate? Is when you go eat at a breakfast restaurant. And you know, one of those breakfast diners. Which, by the way, so many of them have closed in Podcaster Valley. They can't stay afloat. And they make you bloated. And people always walk out super full. And it's so funny to watch at a breakfast diner, the person with the bill in their hand, and they're walking up to the cash register, and their stomach is out to here, And that I just don't see that as a way of starting the day. Because if you have a big breakfast, you can't do anything the rest of the day. I experienced that. Yes, in fact, I blame my stupid hand accident yesterday because I was starving, and I go to this place during my break from work, and I get a breakfast burrito, and after that, I was just dead. It just totally stopped my flow. And then I did a stupid thing where I couldn't hold on to a doorknob. I think it's all related. And the other bloated thing I wanted to talk about was, and I wrote this down, Southern bloated Southern radio people. I guess they're from the South. This must have been from when I was in Alabama. And how they yell. Oh, yeah. So I had a supervisor in Alabama. Let's just call him Bill West. And he would do this thing where he would yell at you. You know how when you say, oh, he yelled at me? And when you hear the words yell at me, you expect them, of course, to be shouting at the top of their lungs. But some people don't yell like that. Some people whisper yell. And that's how Bill West would. He would. That's what he would do. He would do this sort of a, well, you can't do that. You have to do it this way, and you don't do it, and you're not listening to a word I say. Like, there'd be one word that would shout, but the rest of it would be this seething whisper. And that almost felt like you were being... Not everybody yells at you the same way. That's what I found.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Especially when they're bloated. Hey, this is a podcast picture of me over by Coal Canyon Creek. And this was yesterday, and the creek was really just flowing away because of all the water coming out of the mountains. And there's so much, and it's so green, and there's so much moss everywhere. It's wonderful. So see that picture now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. That was another 80s song. A whisper to a scream. I bet you I can figure out who did that song without looking at the computer. It was Icicles. Icicle Works? Something like that. Hey, we're going to get into... I'm not going to look it up. I have my computer set on this interesting story that I'm going to tell you about in the segment, Why the Hell Did I Yelp That? We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, the show, Mike's Daily Podcast, can be found at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Click on the Amazon link if you'd like to help us out. That helps support us. Buy whatever it is you're going to buy on Amazon. That helps us out. There's also a link to the PayPal. You can help us out that way. You'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And there's all the past podcast pictures. And there's the phone number, too, if you want to call me. That's at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, and you can email me there, too. There's links to all the places on social media. Okay, and now, why the hell did I yelp that?
Why the hell did I yelp that?
Burger Master.
I have yelped about a lot of things, and I think to myself, why do I yelp? I could talk about stuff, rate stuff on my show. But then I realized Yelp is a helpful thing. And sometimes Yelp has, what do you call it? Discounts. That doesn't happen, though, with Lowe's. Back in Alabama, I used to use Lowe's a lot. And then I came to California, and I went the Home Depot direction. Home Depots are cheaper than Lowe's out in California, but in Alabama, it's the reverse. That's an interesting little factoid. You can stick wherever you stick your factoids. But home improvement retailer Lowe's has announced its second round of layoffs in just over a month. Is it because of things that I say negatively about Lowe's on Yelp? Saying more than 500 full-time corporate employees company-wide will lose their jobs. This according to the Associated Press. Local news outlets report Lowe's announced yesterday that 430 workers at its headquarters in Mooresville, North Carolina, would be laid off. In addition, 70 support staffers in Wilkesboro. I've never been to Wilkesboro. On January 17th, Lowe's announced approximately 2,400 full-time workers would be laid off. At the store level, a majority of the cuts were made. Meanwhile, the company said Lowe's will post more than 100 new positions at its corporate offices. and 600 full-time customer support. So basically, this has nothing to do with California. Don't know why that story got on the Associated Press and into my news. This is the really big story. I don't know if I've ever yelped about Jimmy Kimmel, but for the last 14 years, he has spent, 14 years, he has spent 70 hours a week toiling away on his ABC late night talk show, according to Variety. He rewrites his own monologues, extensively researches his guests. But when his contract expires in the fall of 2019, he has thought about retiring. I know I will do the show for another 3 years, he said, as he gears up to host the Oscars on Sunday. It's possible that will be it. My wife's pregnant. At a certain point, I'd like to have a little more free time. I have very little free time as it is. Now, his wife, when I think he started his late night show, he was married to someone else, and then I think he was dating Sarah Silverman for a while. Now I don't know who he's married to. And then he lost a lot of weight. He says, as the executive producer and control freak of Jimmy Kimmel Live, he arrives in his Hollywood studios at 9 a.m., shoots at around 5 p.m., and returns to his computer after dinner. I think this job is a grind, and best case scenario, it's a marathon. I want to go out on my own terms. If I ever feel like we're repeating ourselves, I think it's a good indication that it's time. I will miss it when I go. Television is changing quickly. I get a lot of offers to do a lot of different things. He's 49, a little bit older than me. And when he leaves Jimmy Kimmel Live, it won't be for another late night vehicle. If there's something that excites me creatively, it doesn't necessarily mean something in show business. I like to draw. I like to make sculptures. I'd like to write a book at some point. And he can't do that with all the time he spends doing stuff. Now, the late night landscape has dramatically changed since he started with Jimmy. Yes, it has changed. Okay. And then this computer crashed again. Thank you so much for listening to this show today. Despite crashing computers and power outages and snoring dogs, may your dog snore for you. And may you, if you're yelled at, try not to let it bother you. You know what? I got out of Alabama. I got out of that job. I got out of ever seeing that guy again. And I think it will turn around for you as well. Have a wonderful day. I must go! Outside a cafe anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Hey, this show is completely Trump-free. Yay for that.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!